Good afternoon, everybody. This is Adrienne Montgomery. I'm with ERP VAR. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us today. We have Ubix and we have Fortis with us. VIP Integrated Payments was recently acquired by Fortis, and now they are Fortis. And Maya Green is with me today, and he's going to talk a little bit about the merger and the payments integration with Acumatica. Maya is the Senior Vice President of ERP Sales over at Fortis, and we're also joined by Tony Levy. He's the VP of Product Development over at Ubix. And Tony's going to kick it off here with advanced forecasting in a minute. Just a little bit about the companies before we get started. Fortis is a leading provider of integrated payment technology solutions to North American merchants, and they're differentiated by their strategic partnerships and multiple platform models. So they don't just have one solution that fits all. They look at the individual merchant and they look at their unique business needs, and they will apply the best payment solution based on those unique needs. And they're differentiated because they have a complete US-based customer support, extremely responsive, and they have a network of partners that they work with, Sage partners, Acumatica partners, NetSuite partners, that will help with the implementation of ERP systems. But Maya and team Fortis will get down into the payment side of things and make sure that you're leveraging all the data in the ERP system to get the best rate for the customer, for the merchant, and reduce your fees. Ubix is a data science platform. It's designed to allow business users and subject matter experts to solve complex analytical problems without relying on data scientists. So you don't have to hire full-time data scientists to manage the data in your Acumatica system. They will look at different business cases and apply the best use case solution based on what the user needs to answer. So if it's accounts receivable, it can help you reduce your accounts receivable. If it's sales related, it can use the data in the past that is the best to resolve a sales related issue. So different users inside Acumatica can leverage the data, and Ubix can provide answers to those complex tasks that you know, if a human needs to come up with a solution, it's not going to encompass all of the data that a human wouldn't be able to understand all the use cases in the past. The Ubix will provide the best solution given the particular scenario within Acumatica. And so we're going to go ahead and kick it off here with Tony over at Ubix. And Tony, we'll go ahead and let you get started talking about advanced forecasting.
Hey, thank you, Adrienne, and welcome to all of you, our viewers. Let me just share my screen here and make a few adjustments so that I can share what we're talking about today. Here we go. Listen, on behalf of Ubix, let me just say that we're thrilled and excited to be here today in partnership with ERP VAR and Fortis to describe how you can add new capabilities to your Acumatica infrastructure in order to unlock business value in these uncertain times. Think of Ubix as an advanced analytics and data science platform, as Adrienne mentioned, designed to help business users and domain experts such as business analysts, financial analysts, demand planners, inventory analysts, production planners solve analytic challenges that were never possible before, and to do this fast, reliably, and affordably. This is the next big wave in unlocking business value for mid-market companies in all industries and geographies. So why is this important? Why now, and why Ubix? The short answer is unprecedented volatility, uncertainty, and risk. In a world where demand for products is uncertain, supply is at risk, and input commodity prices are highly volatile, every company needs new analytic tools and disciplines to anticipate and shape business outcomes more effectively. Now, traditional ERP and reporting tools alone can't address the analytic opportunities that exist from the front office to the back office, from web analytics and demand planning to production and procurement. Ubix extends Acumatica to empower business users to address these high-value analytic challenges with data science, and advanced analytics. And we offer compelling pre-built analytic solutions from our solution library across a range of use cases to help you get started quickly, reliably, and affordably. Now, modern business systems like Acumatica are already providing flexible, on-demand digitization of core business processes, driving digital transformation. With the advent of data science and advanced analytics, organizations can now analyze unprecedented volumes of data from disparate sources faster, continuously, and cost-effectively to drive new insight throughout the enterprise. We call this the era of the intelligent business, where intelligent processes and applications tap into both internal and external data sources to generate new insight and foresight that drive intelligent action for better business impact. UBIX helps you create the intelligent business by transforming the way you measure, the way you monitor, the way you analyze operational and financial data to drive timely, effective decision-making. UBIX helps you shift from the left side of the slide to the right side, from an over-reliance on human intuition making decisions to deriving new insights automatically from data to augment human judgment. For example, if today you create demand forecasts using human judgment alone, then with UBIX, you enable advanced algorithms to create more reliable baseline forecasts based on historical data and external drivers such as weather or consumer price indices. Not only are the machine-generated forecasts more accurate, but when done well, they can remove bias that is often found in human judgment. You reconcile human judgment with machine-generated forecasts, make adjustments, and submit the final forecast to the plan of record. UBIX helps you shift from an over-reliance on manual spreadsheets and traditional reporting tools to leverage modern cloud analytics and automation that includes proven algorithms that operate on more granular data, down to the item level, for example, as well as external data to create new insights, inferences, and predictions that were not possible before. With UBIX, you shift from an over-reliance solely on historical internal data in making decisions to augmenting historical data with external causal drivers. On the procurement side, that might be commodity price indices, to create new insights that drive business impact. UBIX is an advanced analytics platform. It manages the end-to-end data science lifecycle and bridges the gap between business users and data scientists. While other data science platforms focus on data scientists and Python developers, UBIX focuses on domain experts such as business analysts, financial analysts, demand planners, and more. We believe that until the domain expert is brought into the analytics process early, data science will not be abundant, reliable, and cost-effective. Now here in the center there, you see that UBIX, with UBIX, companies can leverage Acumatica and existing infrastructure and combine both internal ERP data and external data to generate new insights. Specifically, the platform ingests and assembles these data. We enable business users to build analytic solutions to put into production. These solutions then create new inferences and predictions and pass these data to the appropriate end user applications. This way, data science-enabled processes and applications can be quickly and cost-effectively built to deliver timely, reliable foresight and intelligent action. In effect, we're helping you become smarter without having to hire hard-to-find and hard-to-retain talent. Now, because UBIX is a general-purpose data science platform, we address any number of data types and use cases from the front office to the back office. And here we list just a few examples. Web analytics is about analyzing data from a company's e-commerce site, such as transactions, navigation, and interaction with various website widgets, and creating analytic models from these that predict the next best action for the users. Perhaps it's a complementary product to purchase along with the intended product. Perhaps it's a price promotion. The most common goal is increase share of wallet and reduce customer churn. Accounts receivable collections analytics enables a company to model customer attributes such as firmographics and payment history to infer the likelihood that a customer who's missed a past due invoice will pay in the next period. By segmenting customers, the AR team can optimize resources to improve collections and reduce collection costs. For instance, segment C is a cohort of users or customers that is unlikely to pay, and these can be sold to an outside collection agency. Segment B may pay, and these are sent a phone call, and segment A are very likely to pay, and these are sent an email. Demand forecasting is the most basic of use case for the majority of hard goods companies, whether manufacturer or distributor or retailer. By analyzing order history as well as external factors, one can create more reliable demand forecasts by time period, by SKU, by channel. Imagine what a 30% improvement in forecast accuracy can do for a company in terms of reducing working capital requirements and safety stock levels. Commodity procurement analytics is about using internal procurement data combined with external commodity index data to create more reliable commodity price forecasts. And when combined with demand, the ability to make better procurement recommendations. A 3 to 5% procurement savings drops right down to the bottom line. And finally, connected field services, as an example, is about monitoring sensor data from products used by your customers, such as appliances, heating and ventilation equipment, to detect anomalies and predict failures. This leads to improved spare parts planning and service scheduling in order to reduce the cost of field service and increase top-line growth for field service revenues. These are just a few examples of how data science and advanced analytics can help Acumatica customers unlock business value. Let me share with you a customer case study. This is a meat processor. You can think of it as a discrete manufacturer based in the Midwest. They convert beef and pork and turkey proteins into various products for sale into two markets. The first is the restaurant market, which has experienced a significant decline during the pandemic. And the second is the specialty food retail and distribution market, which is seeing significant growth. A new CFO joined the company 3 years ago to drive digital transformation. He replaced their legacy ERP and then started to build out an analytic foundation using Snowflake as a data lake and Microsoft Power BI as an analytic workbench. This is when we met the CFO, and he told us that their number one business challenge is coping with input commodity price volatility. His company's caught in the middle. On the one hand, they buy proteins on the open market, and on the other hand, large retailers are putting pressure on price. He wanted to use analytics to help his procurement team make better buy decisions. And he recognized that his existing analytic foundation was missing a critical component, namely a data science platform to combine both internal data and external third-party commodity index data to create models that forecast commodity prices going forward. The output of UBIX feeds both the ERP reporting module as well as Power BI as their analytic workbench. These are two use cases for the customers. The first use case creates a reliable commodity price forecast using third-party data and historical internal procurement data. And the second use case is the demand forecast. It creates a more reliable demand forecast. And with quantity from the demand forecast and price from the price forecast, we can then make more reliable procurement or quantity times price recommendations. As you can see, the business value is significant. For this particular company, the 3-cent savings per pound in procurement is worth $1 million in annual procurement savings. This drops right down to the bottom line. The point is that the ROI of advanced analytics is substantial. Now, this use case underscores the reason that data science and advanced analytics is so important, particularly in these turbulent times where volatility, uncertainty, and risk are rising. Advanced analytics can unlock significant business value across a range of business challenges. At the heart of our strategy is to deliver value quickly and affordably to mid-market companies with a solution library. Through our own efforts and those of our partners, we have access to hundreds of analytic solutions in a range of industries from retail and industrials to energy, financial services, and other services. Many of these are built and have been in production for over 20 years. If one of your use cases can already be addressed by one of these models, then the implementation effort is very low and the time to value is quite fast. Now, we monetize these models and sell them for an annual subscription fee that ranges in price depending on the value they unlock. Now, this library of solutions allows you as a customer to accelerate your analytics journey and receive value at every step. This journey becomes, in a sense, a self-funding initiative portfolio where one use case generates sufficient savings and revenue uplift to fund the next use case. For instance, you can start by addressing demand planning, create a more reliable demand plan, and then global capacity planning to determine how to fulfill that demand, and then more reliable, feasible production plans in the factory, and then address safety stock levels in the warehouse, optimize logistics and the total supply network. You can then tackle procurement, as we illustrated in the prior case study, and then even predictive maintenance of equipment at customer locations. The opportunity to unlock business value is endless. Now, demand planning is a great place to start in all companies in hard goods industries, from manufacturing and distribution to retail. Human judgment alone cannot cope with volatility, uncertainty, and risk. Human judgment not only struggles with variability, but is also subject to bias. And there are many forms of bias. For example, anchoring bias is the tendency to make judgments by reference to a benchmark, which may or may not be relevant. We see this when a forecast is constructed by reference to a target or a previous forecast, resulting in underestimating variation or the level of randomness, or what is called noise. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek evidence which confirms existing beliefs and ignores that evidence which doesn't. We see this when we remember the time that we correctly spotted bias in the forecast created by other people, but not when we ourselves failed. This often justifies adjusting other people's forecasts. These are just some examples, but there are over 15 documented biases that can impact forecasts. So when a machine-generated forecast is created, then we can reduce bias significantly. Now, a few of you may be using traditional statistical forecasting methods with your forecasts. These are largely based on historical transactions. They may be adequate at handling fast-moving items, but don't work in complex, volatile demand patterns. Demand is impacted by external drivers such as local weather, foot traffic, local demographics, consumer tastes, and social media. Our solution uses data science to combine external and internal data. It avoids overfitting by minimizing or pruning out factors that have little to no demand impact. The solution can apply data science not only on a product, store, and channel level, but also at different levels of aggregation and with flexible groupings. The value opportunity is significant. Imagine the reductions in working capital if companies could improve forecast accuracy by up to 40% and increase inventory turns by 20%. Now, for those of you that support omni-channel sales and fulfillment processes, the demand forecasting challenge is even greater. You need to forecast demand from multiple sources. An e-commerce site generates one demand signal. Bricks and mortar stores or distributors generate other demand signals. And then you need to optimize fulfillment to meet these demand from one or more of your warehouses at the lowest cost, while at the same time maintaining competitive order lead times and on-time and full performance. This impacts tactical and operational plans, inventory allocation and replenishment policies, space and labor capacity management, logistics, reverse logistics, order management synchronization. This is very difficult to do with manual spreadsheet processes. Now, advanced analytics can help. And here we illustrate one way of thinking of the role of advanced analytics within the context of demand planning. Historical data needs to be disaggregated into strategic decisions, such as the impact of new products, tactical decisions, such as promotions, external factors, such as weather, to arrive at a pure market signal. Advanced analytic algorithms then project that pure demand, market demand into the future. We then add back the impact of strategic decisions, tactical decisions, and external factors to arrive at the final demand plan. This illustrates how human judgment complements both advanced analytic algorithms to create more reliable forecasts. In summary, we're confident that the strategic application of advanced analytics and data science can help you as an Acumatica customer gain greater speed, greater agility, greater foresight in these turbulent times. Reach out to Miles Mahoney, our UBIC's Chief Revenue Officer, to schedule a discovery call. Miles will help you understand the value opportunity of applying advanced analytics from the front office to the back office, from customer analytics to financial analytics, demand forecasting, inventory allocation, replenishment, procurement, and more. We will then prioritize the high-value use cases, scope out the work, and kick off a project. In closing, the opportunities are endless and the ROI is significant. So act now. And with that, I'll hand the microphone back to Adrian, and we'll take your questions during the Q&A session.
Thank you, Tony. And Maya, we'll be talking about integrated payments with Acumatica.
So we'll talk about a few things today, specifically mistakes to avoid, some product, and a little bit of, kind of next steps and maybe even a challenge. So with that, let's get started. So a little bit about us. VIP started back in 2016 and was acquired by Fortis in 2021. Now we've had a lot of experience in the ERP industry, specifically working with Acumatica, Sage, NetSuite, Microsoft, across the board. We work with a lot of partners and end users and have for over 18 years. What I would really like to talk about is some differentiators and what Fortis kind of does different. Fortis is a leading provider of integrated payment solutions on a multiple platform model, meaning that you don't just have one solution that you have to choose from. We actually will customize and tailor a solution for you. We do provide an end-to-end suite of payment solutions and work with a diversified network of partners and alliances, like I said before. We do want to become the go-to payments consultants for you and the industry. We do have our own gateway that we own. What that means to you is that we are able to do custom integrations at a quicker pace than most. It also means that you have a lot more flexibility when it comes to adding things. We have a robust API that can be developed into as well. So we'll talk a little bit about things that are pretty important and some mistakes to avoid with early termination fees and long-term contracts. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to get into the weeds with this, but it is a very important topic for a couple of reasons. One, and I'm not a lawyer, so don't get me wrong there, but one is that you always want to know what you're going into. So we'll walk through a couple of topics that you have to look for when you're signing a credit card processing agreement or contract. The term is a huge thing. Now, the industry standard for the term generally is 3 years or 36 months. Now, we've never really looked at it that way. One, if we're doing our job well, you should be able to offer a month to month, right? We don't want to handcuff you. We want to make sure that the client has options, that they can move and they can be agile and do what's best for their business. So industry standard is 3 year. We always do a month to month. We recommend doing a month to month with any processor, integrated or not, if you are going to take payments. So you have a lot of ties into your merchant account through the merchant processor, and they do have access to your bank account. So what you want to make sure is that you're working with somebody that you know and trust and that you understand all of the details, because they do have security interest in the account for the fees, and they could be substantial with access to your account. They do have the ability to debit your account for whatever fees that they're due. Now, always in these contracts, you'll see an indemnification clause. And the way that I look at indemnification is it's basically like an insurance policy for whoever has it. And so a lot of times what you'll see is a one-sided indemnification clause. What you want to see is a mutual indemnification clause to make sure that both sides are covered. Now, if the solution that you're looking at, that contract doesn't have mutual indemnification, you would most likely want them to write that in or go a different direction. So the term and termination, you're held to several different things when it comes to these contracts, and one is being exclusive to the provider that you're with most of the time, right? And what that means is you can only work with one solution provider at a time. They want all of your business, and if you do not give them all of your business, or if the business drops substantially for whatever reason, you generally have to pay a fee for that drop. Usually what it indicates is that you've moved on to a different provider, and that's why they do it. So an exclusivity provision in the contract is generally a red flag. Be careful of that. When you work with a merchant service provider, specifically in the ERP space, you got to consider that your account is generally much bigger than most. And what I mean by that is there's much more volume going through. Plus, it's quite a bit more complicated when it comes right down to how you're taking payments, the third-party solutions, a bunch of different things make it more complicated. So what you have to be aware of, first, foremost, most of all, is liquidated damages. And they're masked a bunch of different ways in these contracts. Essentially, what liquidated damages is when you sign up for a term agreement, say it's 36 months, and you do 12 months of that 36 months, you have 24 months left on the contract that you are on the hook for. Now, what liquidated damages means in this case is that you have to pay the provider the remaining months on the contract times whatever you made for them in profitability on the account. So say you're at $400 a month in profit for this merchant service provider and you have 24 months left on the contract, you can see that this could become a huge problem. Well, what if you're making them $1,000 a month or $3,000? Then it's a huge problem, specifically if they're not holding up their end of the bargain from a tech standpoint, or the customer service is not great, or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, you really just want to be in a position of flexibility, more of a position of power. So don't let yourself be caught off guard by these kind of flags and situations that you could see in the contract. Always ask for the contract, the terms and conditions, and if you don't understand them, definitely it's worth having an attorney look through them. We're happy. We do have an attorney on staff that's a merchant services attorney. We're happy to look at that for you and assist in answering any of those questions. A couple of other things that are very important is to know how to negotiate low rates. And what I mean by that is you have to be knowledgeable on a couple of things. Knowing the rates and fees that are standard for your industry, what they're charged for, and does the payment gateway do level 2 and level 3 payments? Does it optimize interchange? I would generally say, and it's recommended, not to provide your merchant statement up front, because you want to see what a merchant provider can do without basically showing them everything. Now, it is very important to provide your merchant statement because it gives the provider a lot of information that they'll need to know to set your underwriting profile, tickets, chargeback percentages, just some things that could be a red flag and things that could help you in the long run. Always require an annual rate review. And what that means is make sure the provider that you're using is babysitting your rates and hold their feet to the fire. They should have no problem annually doing a rate review and taking a peek at your rates for you, seeing if there's anything that they can tighten up on. Never ever accept a tiered pricing structure. And what that means is when you have when you have the rates and fees that are generally given, most of the time in the ERP space, you're seeing like either a flat rate or cost plus or interchange at pass through rate structure. Every once in a while, you run into somebody that has a tiered rate structure. And basically what that means is that they put the cards that you're taking into one of 5 buckets. You don't have any rhyme or reason for really why they're going there. They can't really show you, for the most part, why they're going there. And a lot of times they're downgraded without a real reason to go to the higher bucket. And also level 2 and level 3 interchange optimization, or a gateway that does do that, will help with, the overall interchange rate that you get. Always request to work with a manager and not a commissioned employee. The reason why I say that is because when you're commissioned, obviously you have other things in mind and you're trying to get the sale and do everything that you can to kind of get it done. That's not in the best interest of most of these clients. Most of the clients of your size and ERP, you just want to work with somebody that can make decisions as well and do it quickly. So always work with a manager, an SVP, or somebody that can and will be able to make the decision for you. Work with a payments consultant that knows your industry, an industry professional that's tenured, that hasn't been there 6 months and isn't going to move off in 3 months. You know your industry, and what Acumatica does really well as a software, and where they sit really well are in a couple of places. Where we see the biggest boost in ERP payments is in wholesale distribution, manufacturing, construction, services, chemical, food and beverage, and nonprofit. So you want to work with somebody that has the experience and the tenure with the company, with company types like yours, so they know what they're talking about. And we've done hundreds of payments installs for Acumatica clients over the years. There's probably not much that we haven't seen, so we're happy to help and walk you through. Regardless of if you use us as the payment service provider, we're happy to help you answer the questions and kind of bridge the gaps and avoid some pitfalls along the way. Never ever lease equipment. We call it fleecing because generally it's a bad situation, and a lot of times what's happening is you're getting a terminal that ties you into something as far as like a long-term contract, or overpaying for the terminal that you could get for a couple $100s if you bought it outright. Generally, it's not a good situation. So buy the equipment outright whenever you can. Usually when you're given free equipment, there's something that is underlying there. It's a bit of a flag, so check out all of the details of that. Read the fine print. When you get a quote from a merchant service provider and you see the savings is phenomenal and you get excited, what I want you to be aware of is that in your situation most of the time, or your client's situation in the ERP space, is you're doing a lot of business to business. A lot of times there's generally less B2C than there is B2B. And so what happens is, if you have a provider that is doing interchange optimization or level 2 and level 3 payments for those business to business clients, the actual interchange is much lower if you're working with a gateway or a provider that offers a gateway that optimizes interchange for business to business and GSA card types. Now, that's not every business and GSA card type. It's a lot of them, and it is a decent amount of money. But what you're seeing with these proposals is a huge overstated savings a lot of times to get the clients on the hook. And then what you'll see is that the optimized card volume is nowhere near what it actually was said to be, right? So on this one, you can see that the level 3 savings was $2,100 on 688,000, right? So if you look at that, the overall total of what they processed, you're talking about a little under half. When it comes right down to it, what you can expect generally as an average for optimized card types with gateways that do interchange optimization is somewhere between 10 and 20% of those cards can be optimized, not 60, not 40, not 50. Every once in a while you'll get a merchant statement that can do, maybe 40% optimization, and that's just based on the card types that are taken and if the gateway does a really good job of it. But just beware of the grossly overstated savings. Don't get super excited. You want them to be able to do the math and back it out and explain to them exactly how they got to that number. We're happy to look at any proposals that you've received. We're happy to do proposals for you ourselves. Again, we want to earn your business, but we want you to do the best thing for your business. So the difference between, employees and standard payments employees and payments consultants is a couple of things. Usually they have the heart of a teacher, and the way that we look at it is part of our job working with your partners, working with end users, and having the years of experience is you have to be in the position of a teacher, of a consultant, and we look at ourselves as extensions of your business, and that's the way we would like you to look at us when we're working with you. It's really our job to explain to you how you can do better in the payments world, where we can give you efficiencies, where you're probably falling short, and what we can do to fix that. We're generally a neutral party, and obviously our solutions, we do have our own solutions, and we want to earn that business, but we're neutral when it comes to this. We want to make sure that you are very educated and make the right decision for you. Again, one of our jobs is to find company efficiencies, savings, and gotchas that most people won't point out, even if they're not in our best interest. We want to point them out to you because we don't want you to trip on them later. And the best thing generally about a consultant is they don't just pigeonhole you into one option. They have multiple options. Again, we do at Fortis have multiple options. And we are compatible with multiple versions of the software. We do our service support and all of that at no charge. What we like to do, and I know this sounds a little bit salesy, but we always challenge the merchants and the end users on our webinars to take the Fortis challenge. Send us a couple months of your merchant statements if you want us to take a peek at it, or the overall. You don't even have to send us all of it, but if we can't save you money, if we can't find efficiencies for you that you're not seeing now, we will give you $500. Now, I know that kind of goes against what I said on don't provide your merchant statement up front, but at the end of the day, what you want to do is whatever is best for your business. Now, providing the merchant statement, again, is 100% necessary. But if you see those gotchas on there, like the huge, savings, they're saying that we can do this and we can integrate this, and if it sounds too good to be true, those are the ones I'm talking about. Do not send that merchant statement until they send you their pricing up front. And we're happy to blind quote no matter what. But again, take the Fortis challenge. We're happy to pay you if we can't save you money. Generally doesn't happen because there are a lot of efficiencies, a lot of savings that we can offer as well. The most important thing that we offer is 24/7 support, and what we always look at with anybody that we partner with is their support as well. So we try not to partner with anybody that doesn't have that same thought process. We give you our direct cell phone numbers and our direct emails. We try to make sure that everything that you have to deal with payments wise is put on us and routed to us as quick as possible. So with that, I won't take up any more of the time. I will turn it back over to Adrian, and I do appreciate your time today, and thank you very much.
And you should see the contact information up here on the screen. So once again, please reach out to Miles or Maya should you have any other questions about their solution and how it might help save you money and increased your profits. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and spending your time with us. We really appreciate it. We know it's hard to come by, and we hope to see you soon on a future webinar. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.